Hello there, devoted viewers. Drew here on 20-sided dice. I'm covering gaming once more. I managed to put my hand on a copy of Diablo 4 and try out the campaign for myself. I did watch a lot of reviews, mostly negative ones because the positive ones are pretty rare. Now, before we begin, because I had the account of someone else, I started my journey with the horse, extra potions, and a few skill points. I also picked the sorceress because I thought she'd be cool to play with. Oh hell, was I wrong. Let's start with prologue. It's the introduction and it did a good job at introducing us to the game. The cinematic with Lilith and the blood petals was the highlight of this act. Act 1 sucked ass. Nothing of interest, nothing incredibly fun to do. Just go through the various areas and kill everything. I don't recall seeing anything that blew me away. Act 2 is probably the most awesome act of all. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a very peculiar character attached to a tree, and it's gorgeous and gore. Loved it. Final boss of this act was also interesting, mechanically and visually. Act 3 was boring, and it had nothing of interest. Act 4 had nearly no combat, if any at all. Could have been a cinematic instead with the final fight at the end. I must say, the boss fight of Act 4 was great. Now, for Act 5, it recommends a character of level 35, and I think I was around level 22 maybe. I persisted through it and managed to come out victorious, but I had reduced to tier 1 at this point in order to keep progressing. My gameplay was drop Blizzard and Hydra on whatever I have to kill, and run around avoiding damage while my spells did the trick. One of the memorable moments of this act involves a wooden coffin in the sea. I must say I wasn't expecting this, and it was impressive. The dungeon below was decent. At this point, I had noticed that most of the dungeons I went through in the campaign were just beautiful areas with absolutely nothing to do but walk through them. No monsters, no events, nothing but empty corridors. And sometimes you also had to walk back as there was no other exits. Reaching Act 6, I had troubles going through the first half of the act since I was under level. So I decided to go do some dungeons in the open world to gain a few levels. I did 3 dungeons and only gained 1 level. I gave up. I went back through the pain of grinding my way through the campaign. Act 6 has a few cool fights, which I would have probably enjoyed more if I had the right level. Even through all this, I managed to defeat the game, 13 levels below, with an inventory filled with stuff I couldn't wear or wield. Then the prologue happens. Nothing of interest once more. Nothing epic or out of proportion to propel a follow-up or an expansion. To wrap things up, I think the campaign was average. Half of it was good and the other half was miserable. There's a reason you can create a character and check a box to skip the entire thing now. It's as if they knew. I hated the cooldown on skills, especially when it takes 45 seconds to come back. I had Hydra. I could only spawn 1 of them at a time. I mean, at least it had 3 heads. For the open world, the only time I spent there was with my horse, and I was skipping everything, exactly like I was told in the reviews. Nothing to see, nothing to do. I was using the minimap they provided. Is it so hard to have a map overlays these days? Back in Diablo 1 and 2, we had it, and the world was generated randomly. Diablo 4 has nearly none of this, and no map overlay. So yeah, I think Diablo 4 deserved its downfall. Good riddance.